Hello, I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley.
And I'm her daughter, Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Heidi and I want to welcome you to Open to Hope Conversations, the podcast.
We believe that the greatest gift you can give yourself after a loss is hope, using this moment to connect with others who have not only survived but thrived.
So let's get started. Welcome to the Open to Hope Show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Horsley, with my daughter and co-host,
Dr. Heidi Horsley.
So today we're going to be giving you ideas on helping yourself and others after a traumatic event. Wow, Heidi, it's really been something with all of the trauma of school shootings, and recently someone stabbed 4 people, and it's really been traumatic for a lot of people.
Well, and I think the fact that we've got 3 major, shootings, they're calling them domestic terrorism in a very short period of time. El Paso, as you know, Dayton, Ohio, and Gilroy is very, very upsetting to people and very concerning, understandably so.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And one of the things that you and I have talked about a lot is how you need to take care of yourself. We know for people that are watching us, it may be a trigger for them. It triggers something in all of us. Now, the question is, how do we handle the triggers? How do we help our kids handle the situation? And how do we keep ourselves maybe kind of calm, Heidi, wouldn't you say?
Well, I think how we help ourselves and how we take care of ourselves is really key, because your kids are watching you. And how you respond is really how they're going to respond. So we need to help them not be overwhelmed by anxiety to the point where they can't function.
Mm-hmm. Really important. And, the news really gets us all going. So one of the things that you and I have talked about, we worked with the 9/11 families, and those were high profile, this constant barrage of news, these constant interviewing whoever they can find to interview, and it becomes very distressing. And one of the things that we recommended to people that they often did was take a news break and maybe limit the amount of time that you watch the news.
Well, I think that's really important, Mom, because the issue is that these traumatic events, these shootings are shown over and over and over on television and on the news. And for children, what children think is happening is that it's happening again and again and again. They don't realize it's one event that keeps being replayed on the media. Mm-hmm. So I think taking news breaks is very important, because when you have the news on, your kids might not act like they're paying attention, but they are. And it can be very traumatizing to kids to see these events over and over on the news. I remember after some of the school shootings, and in particular in Newtown, my kids who live in New York City, their school took precautions and had really a lot of lockdown things that they had in place and drills. And rather than being a comfort to my kids, it was stressful, because they all of a sudden thought, well, maybe my school's going to be attacked. Mm-hmm. So to reassure them, no, we're just getting things in place, but it's very unlikely that's ever going to happen. We need to reassure kids, like you said, Mom, that it's very unlikely, because if you don't reassure them, they're going to be at risk for a lot of anxiety, a lot of behavior problems, and a lot of concentration problems.
Well, but Heidi, that also gets back to the point you made. It begins with you. If you're going to reassure your children, you've got to find that space within yourself. You should increase if you've been doing yoga, walking, making sure you drink a lot of water, do things that calm you now. This is a time when you need to calm and try to calm yourself.
I agree with you. I think that we need to take extra care of ourselves, because it's, you're on social media constantly and you're watching the news and you're inundated with all the crises that are going around the world all the time. Mm-hmm. We now know everything that's going on at every second. Mm-hmm. And so it can be very traumatic for our bodies. So like you said, to take care of ourselves, to exercise, to get support, to be around people that we care about is really, really important.
And don't forget laughter. Get yourself a funny movie. Remember something that you've enjoyed in the past, Caddyshack or some old movie or that you've liked, and bring it into your home and play it, and try to figure out how to get some laughs in the evening with your family rather than focusing on the news.
Yeah, I think that's anytime we can create positive experiences and memories with our family, it is really, really important. And I mean, just the idea of as a family saying, whatever is going on, we're going to get through this together. Mm-hmm. We might not know how, but we're going to get through this together. We're here for each other to support each other, I think is a really important message for kids.
Yeah. And then maybe you say to them after that, why don't we do do a little family outing, get an ice cream cone, walk around the block, or maybe you want to cook something together. That's always fun, plan a meal, get together with friends, because we know that one of the number one things to help you get through a situation where you're feeling traumatized is peer support. So try to have people around you that are your peers that you enjoy, that can be supportive. And I'd really try to watch the negative talk. I'd really try to kind of cut it out of your home for a while, if that's helpful to you. Try to talk about more positive things right now.
And I agree with you about the peer support, because if you're feeling anxious about what's been going on as far as the shootings, that's very normal. And, we've all had losses. And so this triggers us a lot. But go to friends that have had similar losses and talk to them about it. Say, I'm anxious, I'm nervous. This is bringing up a lot. Because what also happens when you see death and destruction on television or on your handheld, it brings up our own losses.
Mm-hmm.
It brings up our own memories. And so it can be very stressful for us. And so go and talk to people, like you said, get peer support around that.
I find it really stressful myself, Heidi, when I hear parents talking now, because I've lost, Scott, and my son was killed, and in an automobile accident. When I hear the parents talking and the press talking and the kind of questions that get asked of them, I mean, it just hurts my heart. And as a sibling, I'm sure you feel the same way.
Well, it's disturbing to see some of the press questions, because they can be very insensitive. And like you said, we've been on the other side of it. And so, they can be very insensitive. People want to get the major stories, and they can do it in an insensitive way.
Heidi, let's give people some actual recommendations on some of the things they can do. I'll start out with one that I think is important. I think you need to take maybe a little inventory of where you are if you've had a loss in your own loss right now. How long's it been? How much does these kind of events bring back for you? And, really take a quick little inventory of where you are with this.
Yeah, I like that. I would say, I think exercise is really important. I think getting in nature is really important. Going for a walk every day. When you're feeling anxious, get up and move.
Mm-hmm.
Do something. It can be cleaning your apartment. It can be going for a walk. It can be calling a friend. Don't just sit in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you sit, what you focus on grows.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you focus on all the destruction in the world, it's going to seem like everybody is negative. And the other thing I would want to say, and we've seen it before in other things, and Mr. Rogers said it, which I thought was really amazing. Look for the helpers.
Mm-hmm.
When you see events like this that are horrible and tragic and people have died, look at all the people that weren't like that and that were helping and were saving lives, because there's a lot of good people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So if we only look at destruction, we're going to feel overwhelmed and depressed.
And one of the things we've talked a lot about is gratitude. Mm-hmm. If you can think of some things that you're grateful for, just maybe one in the morning or two or whatever, and think about journaling, maybe a gratitude journal, and writing down some of the good things that have happened in your day rather than the focus on the negative. And you might ask your my daughter Heather does something which is really fun, which is ask for what was your thorn and what was your rose today. So your thorn's the problem today, and the rose, and maybe with your family you can kind of concentrate on some of the roses, don't you think, Heidi?
Absolutely. And if you feel like you want to do something for the victims of all these shootings, you can go to the Red Cross. You can go to the public good site. There are sites out there that are legitimate, the El Paso Victims Relief Fund, the Dayton, Oregon District Tragedy Fund, and you can donate money. You'll know that it's going to the victims and their families.
Yeah, so you do need to be careful. There's some bogus sites out there. And, if you're a person who likes to write a note to people, there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But one of the things that we've seen in a lot of the tragedies we've been involved in is don't send a lot of stuff to people, because it really creates a lot of sorting through and clothes. And people at Sandy Hook said they received bushel baskets of old clothes, and that wasn't what they needed. So the financial support at this time is probably as good. But the major thing that can help everybody and that can help the world is to take care of yourself. Yeah. And if you want to serve somebody, think about doing it in your own neighborhood. take your family, work at a soup kitchen this week, or volunteer somewhere, or, do something. But the number one thing that you need to do is take care of yourself first. Eating right, sleeping, taking care of yourself.
Yep, I agree with that, Mom.
So we hope that you'll be hopeful about this world. Heidi and I are. Keep the love in your life, keep the light in your life, and take care of that family. And Heidi and I want to remind you, as always, if you've lost hope right now, please visit us at opentohope.com. We've got hundreds of articles for you. We've got radio shows, we've got television shows, we've got video, we've got all sorts of things to give you support on this, on your grief journey. And again, please take care of yourself and be mindful of yourself during these hard times.
I'm Dr. Heidi Horsley. You have been listening to Open to Hope, the podcast. You can follow Open to Hope on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To learn more, visit us at opentohope.com and go to Apple Podcasts to subscribe.
I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley. Join us again next week for another Open to Hope conversation, where we invite you to lean on our hope until you find your own.